Welcome back. From the beginning of the year, we've been building out our tiny home from scratch while also living out of it. So far, we've completed the deck, the ceilings and the wall, and finally our bedroom.
And now it's time to move on to one of the more serious but more exciting aspects of the build, which is this entire space we're standing in. And before we can actually start on the kitchen cabinetry itself, I need to modify this wall. Now it might sound a bit ridiculous, but we're going to be moving this doorway over about 70 mil. Seems a bit pedantic, but there are a few good reasons why. Now, the builder of this home made this door perfectly in line with the louvers behind me so that it's like a directing eye. So he made it this way intentionally, and we on the plans agreed to it being this way. However, after spending a bit of time in here, we realized that it still is just too offset for what we want, particularly because this is where our pantry is going to go. It really makes the building of the pantry a little bit more annoying for me. I feel it's just really weird having the door almost perfectly in line with this door frame. Same goes for the cabinetry we're going to have on this side around the vanity. And then it also means we have a lot of excess space before the kitchen counter starts, and then on the inside of the bathroom before another bit of cabinetry starts. So because of that, we think while nothing's built here, it's going to be way easier to do it now than just annoy us later. So before I can get into anything else, I'm going to have to knock this wall out, shift this door across a bit, and then we can think about moving on to the exciting stuff.
And again, it does sound kind of pedantic that we're doing this, but this wall here is going to be a feature wall that we're going to have a little beautiful archway in the hallway. It's going to be a really nice rich color, and we're also going to have a little coffee corner feature there too. So it's going to be a really big part of the home and how it all cohesively goes together, and we want to do it right. So it might sound a little bit pedantic, but these things matter, right?
Exactly. And if it matters, take your time. So I'm taking all the time in the world. Of course, the downfall of living in the house while building it is whenever you move on to another place in the house, you have to move a bunch of stuff before you can even get started. So we've got to clear this area out, start knocking studs out. And don't worry, I'm not going to unscrew this and the whole loft is going to fall down on my head. I've already checked with the builder, plus I already know a little bit already about framing, so you're not watching a disaster unfold, let's just say that.
This is so funny. It feels very counterproductive. Like, we're supposed to be building stuff, not tearing it apart. Alright, there's our door frame.
Nice, looks good. Look at that, now.
Work health and safety. Are you kidding me? Put your shoes on, Glenn. There's a saw.
That's snug as a bug in a rug. Beautiful. That sound. Nice.
Now, yesterday was Sir Leopold's birthday. He is now 4 years old and as sprightly as ever.
Everyone wish him a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Lele.
Happy birthday. We took him for a nice long beach run, get a puppuccino, all the things. We love you, bud.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in. Huh? All that work for something you won't even be able to tell. But for us, totally worth it. Need a wall here now. I've got my measurements made. I'm going to try and minimize the amount of joins I have to do. So hopefully all I need to do is a joint about this big above the door, halfway on the wall. Everything else should be a really nice finish. So it means less mess, less fuss, and a better finish. So much heavier than it looks. And just like that, we've got a wall.
It's not easy.
That is really good, that. Lovely. Might just lean on it for a little bit.
We have a ceiling.
The world's smallest ceiling.
Wow.
Wow.
A crazy storm is about to hit. Oh my gosh. Sounds like a hurricane's about to hit.
So with the wall now done, what we're going to try and do is somewhat of an archway. Now, obviously it is a sliding door, which means it has to have a cavity. Makes things a little bit more complex, but I'm taking a leaf out of Bo, the guy that made this tiny house for us. His design, and I'm really just simplifying it. Give ourselves a nice little archway without too much of a headache with the install and not making it too complicated. Alright, now this is definitely rough, and I've given myself wiggle room for sanding so that it's like a really fluid line, because one thing that really irks me, and I'm sure you've seen it before, is when archways have a clear straight line and then the circle starts, but this needs to be so perfectly fluid that there isn't a clear line where the straight line stops and the circle begins. So I've got a fair bit of sanding to do, as always, but for now, this looks pretty good. And now I have two beautiful archways. So now that these guys are done, I'm just going to leave them, figure out the wall, and then I can whack them on top. We're actually onto the kitchen. Get a bit of a system going where I can cut out templates and just cut a bunch of them to be ready to construct. Let's get into it. Now I'm ready. Now I'm ready. With those cut, it's time to cut out a little notch for a little kickboard. I have never done anything like this before, as usual. So maybe comment below what I could do better, but at the same time, I feel like I'm already committed to doing it this way. You can do the kickboards separately as like your base and then do your cabinets on top, but I kind of like the idea to save timber. Also just integrate it all as one in building in the kickboard to the dividers. If that makes sense to you, great. If it doesn't matter either. I'm just gonna do some more cuts. Also wanted to give a final check over to make sure that these are all identical to begin with, because every single step, even if it's a tiny bit off at step one, it just keeps amplifying all the way along, all the way until the end, and then everything's going to look yuck. So, as far as I'm concerned, this looks pretty damn good. I'm stoked. Everything seems super square and really nice and matched. Because these are going to be the divides of the kitchen, they just have to be identical to make sure it runs super square and super straight. Now to cut the corners. Done. Well, unfortunately it's just started raining, so that's me for the day. Nice progress. Not as much as I'd like, but hey, moving forward. It's now time to patch and finish off the dividing wall. Now that we've got the archways to a point that I'm happy with, that I know all the measurements line up, patch these guys. Hopefully I should be able to knock this out pretty quick smart. The only thing, obviously, I got to wait between coats for drying. Once again, I've not done this before, so fingers crossed turns out alright, because this is a pretty important wall. Now while that dries, the sun's still about, which means I can keep going with this kitchen cabinetry. I've done all my dividers, none of the end pieces, but all the middle pieces and all the bits that are going to join together. Now I've got to do the bases and the spreaders. Hopefully, once again, my lovely little book will give me all the answers I need to smash this out this afternoon. Then I'll have my own flat pack furniture that I then need to assemble. Just like that, we have a flat pack kitchen. Easy as. It's a labour of love, as with everything I'm doing, but it's really cool. So I'll be able to now have all the individual components. I'll then be using pocket holes for the most part. And if you don't like pocket holes, that's okay. I'm going to do them anyway. But that's for another day. I'm pretty cooked for today. Job done. Time for dinner.
Good morning. All right, it's nothing but clear skies today, so we're continuing to make headway on the kitchen, which means we need to move our current camp kitchen out of the way to make space for all the activities we have to do today. This is just part of living in a tiny home while you're building it, I guess. It's just constantly moving things around, so...
I don't know how many times we've moved these benches, but it's doing my head in. So I'm really excited for them to be gone, to be honest.
Almost there. We're almost there. Let's go.
Time to move on to the cabinetry. I'm incredibly nervous. I've never done pocket hole screws and I've never done cabinetry. So we'll see how we go. I'm starting with the end one and working my way along. Thankfully the end one is tiny. I'm hoping I don't mess up, but if I do, it's the least amount of materials affected. Meanwhile, I've got my barista here. Just open up. Watch yourself, Kendall.
Hi, would you like a coffee?
I'd love one. Thank you so much.
How beautiful is this?
A lovely little kitchen.
Maybe we keep the kitchen out here. I'm loving this.
And there's Leo. Keeping an eye from afar. Always in the sunshine. You are glowing. Now I go up to my little flat pack collection here. I'm going to pick out my next piece. Yes, I'm working. Thanks for checking up.
He's just supervising. He's doing his job.
He's on the job.
Good boy.
Alright, I'll get to work.
Wow. Wow. What do you think? It's so nice. Oh, he loves it. Approved. Approved.
Look at that.
They look so big.
They are. It's pretty big.
So much space. This is great.
endless storage. One more to go on this side, and then that side will be a piece of cake. Killing it.
Oh, yes. Are you happy with it? Oh. Where have you been? Your paws are all muddy.
There we go. I'm stoked though. That looks sick.
Wow.
Zoom, zoom. Oh, it's really good. 10, yeah, great.
Woohoo!
Nice.
Alright.
Look at that.
Oh.
We sort of have a kitchen. I can't believe it. This is so cool. This has been such a dead space. Now it's like, wow. Did the
Oh, I thought you were gonna go back. You fooled me.
The only thing left to do is the pantry. I've still got a few things to fine tune there, but for today I just really needed to get this done so we can get everything outside back in here. We did it.
It feels like it's really coming together. Oh my goodness.
This is a massive step.
It's a carcass at the moment, but a beautiful one nonetheless.
Just use your imagination.
Progress, baby.
Lovely kitchen. As you can see, things are getting pretty tight in here, but the corridor's just big enough for me to be able to do the pantry. There's a little bit more messing about with like how it fits in at the top there, but I think I figured it out, so it's time to screw this thing together and see if I can get it from here into there without damaging stuff. That's a big pantry.
All this space for food. Did you hear the F word? Now we just have to figure out how we're gonna put this all the way back there next to the fridge.
So, some of you might think this is pretty silly of me, which it's silly kinda, but the conundrum is more so, I've obviously got all these screws securing everything in place, and the whole point is that they're all hidden. Once they're in place, I can't actually access points to screw them in. So for example, this top piece I can't attach without having exposed screws. I can't just screw in from the side because it's against the wall, I can't screw into the top because it's against the ceiling. I'm just gonna have to get rid of this centerpiece completely. I can detach all these side ones, and then I can just slip the tall edge in, ram it up against the wall, then I can come back around, attach cross-sectional upper bits again, and then decide what I want to do with this ceiling piece. I mean, it doesn't matter that much, I was just sort of liking that it gave it quite a bit of structural integrity up the top half, particularly because it's not super sturdy. But it might mean I just sort of put in a fixed shelf as opposed to a shelf that can move, and that would give it a fair bit of strength as well. It's annoying, this was supposed to just be a final quick slip in, but here we are, wasting time. All part of it, huh? Well, it's in. I have slightly less structural integrity in the top, but I think it was over-engineered in the first place, so I'm not too fussed about that, and it's really not the end of the world. I'm just glad it's in place, and look at this. Wow.
Wow.
That's something. Obviously, this gap's not going to be here. I'm going to have another panel, but it means it's going to be seamless. If that doesn't excite you, I don't know what will.
Alright, so this is as far as we've gotten. I know it doesn't look like much, but it actually feels like such a different space already.
It's incredible. It does feel like we have a kitchen. Obviously, it doesn't look like it just yet, and nothing's actually finished, but we are so thrilled with how it's all come together.
The kitchen carcass is officially finished. Obviously, we just have makeshift bench tops up above.
This isn't the rustic look we're going for.
But because, you know, we're living out of it while we're building it, this will have to do until we get our next run of good weather, because we are coming into a bit of a storm over the next few days, and then we only have one more day of good weather before we head off to Europe for 6 weeks. So we have to get as much done as we possibly can in that day.
There is a list a mile long, so we're just going to try and tick off as much as we possibly can in that 24-hour period. So keep your eyes peeled for that episode coming up. And then we have 6 whole weeks in Europe.
Speaking of Europe, you may have noticed that throughout our tiny home build, we like to do a bit of travel in between. We'll be going over there for a bit of play, but also a bit of work. We'll be doing some filming with our best mates, Try and Reese, who you would have met in our trip to New Zealand. And we know that you love the tiny home build videos, but we'd also really like to know what you'd like to see when we are traveling. Do you want it to be, you know, more tips on places to go and things to see? Do you want it to be more day in the life, kind of vloggy style? What do you actually want to see when we're over there? Let us know in the comments below, and then we'll see you on the next video where we try to get as much done as we possibly can before we leave.